And this independent UN Commission report isn't the only development coming out of Syria. Over the weekend, Israel launched an airstrike on a military complex just outside of the Syrian capital of Damascus. At least 42 soldiers were killed in the attacks, according to information from military hospitals, but the exact number has yet to be released. This is the third airstrike Israel has conducted on the country this year, although the government has yet to formally confirm its involvement in the strikes. In the past, Israeli officials have said that they will use force to prevent the transfer of advanced Iranian weapons into the hands of Hezbollah militia. For more, RT International correspondent Paula Slia reports.
The Israeli military is still refusing to confirm or deny reports that it was responsible for the strike inside Syria in the early hours of Sunday morning. But if you ask just about any Israeli here, almost all of them will tell you that they do believe that the Israelis were responsible for that operation. While it's still not clear exactly how many people were killed, it is expected that more than 100 died on Sunday morning. Now, Syria has said that it will not accept a breach of its sovereignty or its security, and they have turned the artillery to face towards Israel. The Syrian Deputy Foreign Minister, Faisal al-Mekdad, says that the attack is a declaration of war, and as such, Syria will respond in its own time and its own way. We are being told that Syria says that all options are on the table, although no details have been given as to what exactly this means. Iran, which has a defense agreement with Syria, has also said that it will respond, and it is urging neighboring countries to stand up to what it calls Israeli aggression. Now, the Syrian President Bashar Assad has reportedly given the clear orders to all missile operators as well as anti-aircraft weapons officers to react to what he says are any unknown objects, regardless of their type or their source, immediately and without any reference to a higher administration. Assad is also reported to have said that he will allow any Palestinian organizations operating in his country to wage attacks against Israel from the Golan Heights. So that is why you have some saying that Israel seems to have shot itself in the foot, essentially, because now the northern Israeli border is very vulnerable, certainly much more vulnerable than it was just a few days ago. But the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has not commented on the issue. The only comments he's made since Sunday is that Israeli security is paramount. Now, Israel insists that it was targeting a military convoy that the Israelis say was making its way from Iran through Syria to Hezbollah in Lebanon. The Syrians say something quite different. They say that one of the targets was a military research center on the outskirts of Damascus. On Monday evening, 2 mortars fell from Syria and landed on the Israeli side of the Golan Heights. Now, the Israeli army has lodged a complaint with the United Nations, although they say that they don't believe that these shells were purposely directed at Israel, but were rather stray. Israel has opened the no-fly zone that it imposed in the north of the country, although Lebanese media is reporting right now that Israeli Air Force planes are operating in Lebanese airspace. The Lebanese army has significantly fortified itself along the Lebanese-Israeli border, and UNIFIL, the United Nations interim force in Lebanon, it has heightened the alert of its troops in the area. Paula Slia, RT, Tel Aviv.